Hello and welcome back. In case you're wondering who is this right now, what recording or post are you watching? My name is Yolanda. I am locating cozy, and this is a broad chat. And I'm really excited today to have Keturah with me. How are you doing, Keturah?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Yolanda? Back in your lovely apartment?
I am so happy to be back at home and in my the serenity of my own spot. And I do have a cold, so my man voice is just a little bit deeper today. So I appreciate y'all's patience as I work through this. I was gonna cancel, but I was like, girl, we're gonna keep it real. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you're soldiering on and kept up, keep keeping it up.
Yes. And the thing is this, my granddaughters, because I just got back from Madrid, I did a 3 week pet sit and I had two travel buddy experiences with women that booked with me to experience some of Madrid. But my granddaughters were back in here in Zaragoza and they've been sick. And so I literally woke up the day I was leaving to like getting on the train to come back here to Zaragoza and I felt the itch in my throat. Now, granted, I hadn't been around anybody. I mean, like in the past couple the days leading up to me leaving. So I'm like, where did this come from? Where did the cooties come from? I don't know. But
But yeah, the cooties will be gone soon enough. Just take some meds and then no more cooties.
yeah. Well, the good thing for me is that I make juice. Like I'll make a juice like with beets and carrots and all that stuff, and I put them in little bottles and then I freeze them. And then I
Oh,
also made some homemade bone broth. So when I got back here, I feel like it hasn't affected me as bad because when I got back, I was like drinking the juice and the bone broth. So I think that's helped a lot.
good.
And so
Glad to
anyways,
hear it.
just giving up all my business. Katura, well, before we get started, I like to ask the question, how are you locating your cozy? What have you done lately? Maybe that just brought you joy. It can be something as small as, I walked around the block and or I had a candy bar, or I turned off my phone and didn't talk to anybody for a week. How
Oh,
are you
excellent.
locating your cozy?
First, I love the framing of that question because I too am a big proponent on being selfish. One of the first essays in my first book is actually called The S Word, where I talk about how selfish should be
Oh,
reframed and reclaimed as a good thing. But anywho, I digress. I locate my cozy by actually immersing myself in a community of care with people I love. And I would say most recently, I did that by going to a house party at a new friend's place. I met her around Thanksgiving time, and she is a hostess with the mostest, loves hosting people at her home. Then she had, I think, her husband and her mother-in-law went back to the States for a month or so, and she was like, "I'm home alone. Come over." So, and I find that I feel my most comfortable and my most content when I am mostly intimate settings, but this house party was not intimate, but mostly having intimate conversations, being in proximity to friends and people I care about. That makes me comfy and cozy.
okay, that's cool. And sometimes locating your cozy is I want to be by myself. And then sometimes locating your cozy is also about giving and communing. And so that's really great. That's really
Thank
great.
you. I agree.
Yeah, my locating my cozy for me, especially with getting back here to Zaragoza, is actually, I guess, giving because my oldest granddaughter, like I got back here Saturday morning at like 9 o'clock, and my oldest granddaughter, she's 4, she was at my house and by like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Yeah,
She's like,
to
I'm
spend
ready,
the night.
Grandma.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just because I do her hair because she has like really really thick hair, and so
Mhm.
that's how I give my daughter some time. It's like I make sure like at least probably once a week I do her hair. So for me, really, it was very, I guess, therapeutic for me to sit down with her. And literally when she got here, when my son-in-law and daughter brought her over and stuff, and she was like, okay, like she was telling them in Spanish, you can leave now. Like she was telling them bye. But it was just really nice to sit down and just her and I hang out, and she spent the night and me just doing her hair and we're just watching TV and the random conversations with the 4-year-old. Yeah, but it was really, yeah, therapeutic. It fed my soul to spend that quality time with her. That was really nice.
It is beautiful. I love it. I love how she was saying, "Okay, y'all can go now. You've done your
Yeah.
job. You've dropped me off. You've done the chauffeur duties. Now I'm with grandma. Bye bye."
Yeah. Now,
It's
full
cute.
transparency. I'm gonna full transparency. So some of you know. So I have a TV in my living room and in my bedroom, and so she doesn't get to watch a lot of TV at home. So I know that she cares about me. I know she does, but also when they left, she was like Lolly, because she calls me Lolly. She's like Lolly, TV, because she knows she can go in my room and watch TV for like an hour or so before I yeah. So that too.
Practical,
Yeah.
practical. Listen, 4-year-olds are very much practical. Like I want to watch this TV and I want to get to see grandma, but I want to watch this TV. If we being real,
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So, Kater, tell me, where are you located at? What's going on in your world? Give us the basic insight.
sure.
Yes.
I am located in Lisboa, Portugal. I've been here about 8 months. Moved most directly from New York City, where I spent pretty much of my entire adult life. I was born and raised in New Orleans, the beautiful, my 504. But moved to New York when I was 26 years old. Lived in New York for about 20 years. Did 5 years abroad, 2 years in East Africa and Rwanda, and then 3 years in Asia in Shanghai, China. Went back to New York to sort of catch my bearings because I wanted to be intentional and plan my next relocation abroad because I felt strongly that my next relocation abroad would be my last, my
Right.
final resting place, so to speak. And so by the time I visited Lisbon in the summer of 2024, I was like, oh, this is the spot. Let me go ahead on and start getting this move and relocation in motion. And so, yeah, I've been here 8 months and am very, very, very happy in my decision. So, I guess it's just general summary of my haunts and exploits around the world. I am a writer, I am an educator and workshop facilitator, and a general lover of people and food. I'm from New
Mhm.
Orleans, so that's inevitable. I love my people and I love eating food with my people.
Yes. So, what when you first decided to move to Lisbon and you've been there for 8 months, were there some other places that you were considering initially, or was that like this is where I'm going? My decision's been made.
I actually had a list. I spent when I got back to New York in 2019, I'd always been in all of the different little travel groups on social media and had heard word on the street when I was living abroad before and also being in social media groups. There were certain countries and cities and countries that were in my opinion trending, especially among black folk, particularly black
Hmm.
American folk. So I visited Panama City in Panama for a month. And oddly enough, no shade to Panama. I had the exact opposite experience in Panama City that I had in Lisbon. On the Uber ride from the airport to my Airbnb, I was like, "Oh, this ain't it." But I'm here, so I'm gonna
Wow.
have a,
Wait a
I'm
minute.
gonna have a good, I'm gonna have a good time while I'm here. But this ain't it.
Okay. What happened from the airport to your Airbnb? That was like quick.
And I think, and here's the thing, Yolanda. It's like I tell people when they ask you what made you decide on. I'm sure you get this too. Whatever country you chose, it's kind of like love. Once you decide you're going to visit a country, you probably have a list of things. They have to have good infrastructure, good health care. If you're still in the workforce, I'm able to even work there remotely or maybe find some sort of employment, supplement my income. Yeah, all those things.
Mm,
Everything else is just chemistry and vibes. So Panama City, it was on the list and I was going there for a month because it had all the things and it was a very popular spot, especially for a lot of black folk, black Americans.
yeah.
It's easy to get there from New York. It's easy sell for my family and friends to come visit because it's not too exotic like when I lived in China, or it wasn't too far like going to Rwanda. And it was just something about it just didn't feel right. And when I had that initial thought, like, hmm, I don't understand. I can understand why people are coming here for vacation and to go to like little events. Like there's apparently a big film festival and a couple of music festivals people go to, but I'm not feeling the love yet. And so I said, well, this first impressions, and I was there for a month and met a lot of really cool people. There's a really incredible community of diaspora, black diaspora folk in Panama City and the surrounding little cities, but it just didn't speak to my heart. It just didn't feel right. And there are things
Yeah.
about having lived in New York City, my adult life, and also New Orleans, my entire childhood, that gave me kind of high standards for what I expect in the city. And Panama City just didn't have it. So
Okay.
yeah, I didn't fall in love with it. So I did Panama City. I also did Mexico City, Playa del Carmen, San Miguel de Allende in Mexico, and all of those
Mhm.
places were good. I didn't have like the Panama City experience. Like, oh, this is awful. I was like, okay, this is a possibility. I might do this, and I think that's all. And I was going to explore Belize and Costa Rica, but again, like I said, when I got here, I was like, oh, this is the one.
Yeah. It speaks to you. Wherever you're supposed to be, if you have the option, whether it's through slow travel or through like I'm gonna set up camp here and then decide if it's speaking to me. If you have that option to really hear what's speaking to you, that is such a one. It's a wonderful gift and ability to have. I was really kind of excited. For me, Lisbon was a possibility. It was because of so many wonderful the Black community there. I went to Lisbon. I think I've been to Lisbon now, like I think 5 times. But the first time I went, I realized that it was not where I wanted to live. It was someplace that I love visiting. And so that's why
Fair.
I've come back 5 times. And I'm so happy that I'm in such close proximity to it, living in Spain, that it's easy for me to get there. But yeah, I get that. It didn't speak to you. I've told people before, and I've had conversations with some other people that I've interviewed, and the whole thing is like, if it doesn't fit, don't force it. I understand that some people have to leave the country like under circumstances where
Yeah.
they just have to land where they land. But if you have that option to try to find your own place of comfort and preservation, then that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were there for a month in Panama,
Yes.
found great community. Um, what
Awesome
was
people.
so what besides the vibe, was there like any, I guess that was there a specific con that just said no, anything specific happened?
It's hard for me to sort of quantify the architectural geographical design. Now, again, I want to make this clear. I'm a city girl. So whatever country I moved to I was going to make the main city my home base, the capital city. I'm from New Orleans, the most cool and culturally rich and African coded city in the United States. And then I spent my entire adult life in New York City. So I'm going to need to be in a city. So I was clear that Panama City would be my home base. I went to Boquete, which is an absolutely gorgeous, lush, beautiful weekend getaway kind of place.
Hmm.
I went to Cologne and then toured all areas of Cologne, which is beautiful and again culturally rich. But Panama City was going to be where I was going to call home. And just there was a non beautiful kind of aesthetic. And I say that only because I've been in Portugal for 8 months, walking around and being wowed still at the gorgeous tile, at the beautiful, ornate, older buildings. Also, because even though I'm in Lisbon, which is not necessarily rural, it's a city, it's still
Yeah.
enough greenery, enough parks, and Europe in general. South and Central America has this too, but Europe in general has this a variety of places you can just walk and sit in a square, right?
Yeah.
So there was just an unappealing visual component to it that this didn't set well with me. Now,
Okay.
clearly, if you go to the more, you know, wealthy or rich areas, it's cleaner, the buildings are newer, but just a general architectural visual component didn't speak to me.
Okay.
And also, I love to walk. I need to be able to walk around a city, and I didn't find Panama City to be as easily walkable as my
Oh, okay.
comparison then was New York, and now especially Lisbon. So those I think were the two biggest things that I couldn't necessarily unsee and make myself have peace with.
I got you. Okay. Okay. And so then when you came to Lisbon, what was that like, I guess, upon your initial landing of arriving there?
The beauty is, first of all, took my breath away. I ended up having to stay outside of Lisbon proper because I had a snafu with the Airbnb that I reserved. My fault. So I ended up having to find something at the last minute, which was across the Tagus River. We in Lisbon they say over the bridge. So the Uber had to drive me kind of away from Lisbon across the bridge. And that drive across the bridge and just the it was like driving into a postcard. And as some of you may know, Lisbon is quite hilly and the surrounding area is quite hilly. So it's like you're watching levels and levels of just absolute sheer gorgeousness. And I think the
Yeah.
pastels, the Portuguese tiles was just so beautiful. And I came in summer. So beautiful weather and just a serene calmness that was absolutely beautiful. And within my first week or two, because I would catch one of the local buses to come into Lisbon, I met some really cool people here too and was connecting with them. So I would come in and hang out with the friends I was meeting in Lisbon and just getting off downtown at Orient on the bus and then walking around and getting on the metro to go meet friends. Just beautiful displays of art. Even the newer apartment buildings, you could tell were not old school Portuguese, but the architecture and design was just very quaint and very beautiful. So it was just walking around and seeing so much beauty and having it verified that there were components of living in a city that would would check off the list for me. Like I've since learned that this is not as good as I thought it was, but public transit public transit was functional, not as functional when you live here and you have 8 months to see it, not just a month when you don't have anywhere
Yeah.
to go or anything to do. But there's public transit. It was again full of arts and culture, international cuisine, and that's modeled in the people who come here
Yeah.
too. So that's sort of what immediately drew me to it. And it just, I think people say this all the time who've moved here. You just feel a calmness and a peace. It's not a perfect country like no country is, but there's just a
Yeah.
calmness and an ease and a peace here that sits well with me.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's like now I'm a hardcore foodie, so I like to try all kinds of food. I'm not just a typical creature of habit necessarily for that, but I've not had one bad meal in Lisbon. Not one.
Same, 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 same.
Not one. Yeah. As much as I hate how hilly it is, because I mean you can be walking and all of a sudden you're like going straight up like a roller coaster. And I was like, what
Ooh,
the hell?
listen, my first 2 weeks here, Google Maps just did me wrong. They did me dirty. Google Maps. I'm like, why am I walking up the stairway to heaven? Like, I don't
Just
understand. There's no better way to get to where I'm going, Google Maps.
nope. Yep. I tell this story because when was that? I was there. I mean, I was just there in October for the Black State Global. Yeah, they had a couple of different events. Yay,
Mhm.
so much fun. But before that, I was there in December of the previous year. And I went to meet up with, they have the weekly breakfast group for Black Americans in
Yes.
Lisbon. Yes. And I
Yep.
went.
I've had that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. I love meeting up. It was just such a beautiful experience. So, but the Google Maps said, oh, you can walk there. I was like, okay, I can walk there then. I'm walking, and all of a
You
sudden, it was
can.
just like, I was like, oh my God, what is happening? So I wanted to look like I wasn't necessarily a tourist and about to pass out. So what I did was I would walk up, and once I got to cross the street, I would stop and look at my phone so I can catch my breath. I was like, whew, okay. And I did that, and it was like it had been. I think it was about a good 7 or 8 streets straight up that I was doing this, and I was like, "This is torture." Yeah,
Yep.
but the beauty
Sounds
is
about right.
there. Yes, the community and the beauty is absolutely there, and I absolutely love going to Portugal. Actually, I'm going to Coimbra and Porto in a couple of months. I'm really
Oh,
excited about that.
wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful. Again,
Yes.
I think there is no part of this country. I haven't seen it all yet, of course. I've been to several cities outside of Lisbon, and they're all just, I feel like you can't go wrong. They're all just beautiful, beautiful and quaint. And
Yeah, this
Coimbra
will
is
be my
really
first
nice.
time. I'm excited about that and
Oh,
stuff, and I'm excited to go see
Porto is really nice
Angie's
too.
soul food restaurant in Porto. So yes.
Oh, yes, good for you.
Yes, I'm excited about that. So when you moved, are you traveling or traversing or relocating solo, or have you talked people into like did you have family that came with you, or you're like I see you when I see you?
I relocated solo. I am happily unmarried and love being able to sort of be the master of the ship of my life and make decisions and
Hmm.
then act on them. So I relocated alone. And one of the things I tell people is when I was on the 5 year journey going and staying in other countries and figuring out what my next move was, I was looking at places that would be easy sales for my family of origin and my family of choice. I chose Lisbon because it's a Europe. I chose Portugal as a European country under the impression that for at least my family of origin who are not adventurous in their travels, going to a European country where the sort of prevailing view is that it's developed enough like the US so you won't be so out of pocket that it would be an easy
Yeah.
sale. And of course my family of choice, my friends who dearly love are like me, so they have passports, they are adventurous, but still I think it would be easy to sell. Having said that, I have made it clear to everyone eventually if this is this place and I've spent a few years here and I do feel like this is truly the one. I do plan on investing in buying some property and my home can be open to you to come forever or for short stints. So I've made that offer clear. My nieces and nephews have been talking about, coming over to visit. But I am at a point, especially after having done this before for 5 years, of accepting that I made a choice to move far, far away. And most people do not move far, far away because they want their community and they don't want to be away from family of origin and family of choice. They want that connection. And since I made a non traditional choice, I have committed myself to rebuilding a community of care here in Lisbon and pouring into them and finding people who are pouring into me who can give me that support. My people back in the States, they all know. If you have to ask, can I come? The answer is probably no. The ones who know, they'll be the ones in my spare bedroom. They know. Just let
Yeah.
me know so I can go put some food in the refrigerator for when you come, and we good.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's so funny because, yeah, people are. I've had quite a few people that have said, like, so does your family come and visit? It's like, well, one, most people know that my youngest daughter lives here in Zaragoza. But,
Hmm.
again, the people that know me, they know I'm a pretty outgoing person, whether it's within the community, like, Exodus Summit, or just whatever communities that I belong to, supporting Black women, especially on their journeys, of just trying to figure out what they want in life. But you're welcome. But I love that I have my family that I love forever, and that's a part of me. But I also know that I can't expect them to come. Just because I left the country, I understand that that may not be their journey, and I
Yeah,
respect that. I understand that, but they know that they're
yeah,
welcome. Yes, and I have
exactly.
been very, very lucky that, well, now it's been over a year. Wow, that I had all three of my daughters here visiting at the same time, like a few months after I moved here. So I'm very thankful for that. But I'm also so very thankful for the wonderful community that's been developed here in Lisbon. When I come to Lisbon, automatically there are three particular groups of communities. Well, actually four, because I'm also in the Internations group. But I immediately go and check in and be like, hey, y'all, I'm coming. What's going on? And I'm not expecting some ticker tape parade when I arrive,
Hmm.
but I just want to know that I'm going to be here so I can see if there's a chance that we can actually like get together for lunch or what have you, not
Hmm.
expecting you to entertain me for the whole time.
Just
But
want someone to connect with, other human beings that you want
yeah,
to connect with who have similar stories. Mhm.
yes, yes. And I love that. And that's, whether it's, the communities in Lisbon. When I was just in Madrid for 3 weeks, there's the Melanin Madrid group. Three of us, well, actually it was four of us, we got together, went out had some dim sum, and then went to a little speakeasy. It's just so nice to have especially other Black women, or Black people in the community. Wherever you are, they are.
Yes,
So,
yes, it
so
is. Yeah, I do believe that. And I do think that's one of the things that has been confirmed for me on this second stint around. Even when I was living abroad before, I had it confirmed. Told this people all the time, there is no corner of this globe where we ain't at.
Yes, yes,
Now
yes,
the numbers, the scale of it may vary based on where in a part of the world it is, but we out here, and if you
yeah,
truly want to be in community with other, and I would say if you broaden outside of America, but the Black diaspora, if you truly want to be in community with the Black diaspora, you can go anywhere and you can have that community. You just have to be intentional in finding it and pouring into it.
yeah. And there's no, because the bottom line is there's no reason for you to feel like you have to do it solo or by yourself, even if you do
Exactly.
travel solo, even
I
if you
say to
do
people,
relocate by yourself.
I say to people all the time, solo travel is my favorite way to travel. It's 95% of the time I'm traveling solo, which explains why I felt like I had the chutzpah to move completely abroad solo. But I always say solo instead of alone because I've never felt alone. I think if you move or travel without a companion, that's definitely a thing and it comes with its challenges. And at the same time, you don't have to be alone anywhere unless you want to be. And that includes romantically or platonically. I can have those parts of me filled with just
Yes,
a tiny bit of intention and work.
yes. That's a whole other conversation. So, because I did get on Hinge while I was in Madrid. So that's a whole other conversation. We're not gonna have it
Yeah,
today.
exactly. We're not gonna have that one
It's
though.
like, well, I mean, open to the conversation, but and so one of the other things is that I was in Madrid for 3 weeks or wherever, like even just being in Zaragoza, and people think that you're just out here just living the wild life. It's like, girl, let me tell you something. I was in Madrid for 3 weeks and I had a wonderful time because I like to go. They have like a lot of thrift stores, and I'm loving the thrift stores like Humana and all that. But I think in the 3 weeks that I was there, I maybe did four or five things with like within like finding like something that was going on with Internations. I went to an art gallery and stuff. So I think I did like maybe four or five things, but it wasn't like, I was like doing like we met for dinner, the same thing that I was doing in the US. It's
Yeah.
the same thing, but people sometimes think that you're just doing the most. It's like, no, I'm living a
Yeah.
little bit more
That's
relaxed.
exactly. That's not sustainable. I think if I'm going on vacation to somewhere,
Yeah.
sure, but my life in my new country is my life. The same way, and once you get settled into the new place, it becomes your life. You have a routine. If you're still in the workforce, you have to work. So just that
Yes.
by in of itself makes it like you can't be out here just out here in the streets all the time. Your life
Yeah.
becomes your life. Yeah. And the things you enjoy doing back home, you kind of re-implement that or recreate it there and here in your new place too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, just for people that are thinking that and stuff, and thinking that you have to live some baller life. One, the cost of living is a lot less. It's more maintainable and a lot less expensive here in other countries. But yeah, when you see me posting content, it's like, oh, this was a cool moment. That was it. Otherwise, I'm on my couch watching. Right now I'm watching Private Practice again. Girl, it's
Much
great.
exactly. I do think that people who at this point in our social media trajectory understand that it's just people. It's like before social media. If you happen to run into somebody in the street and they're like, "Oh, look at the picture when I went on this trip," you kind of know that was a moment. Like they probably
Yeah.
had some hard times after the trip. They probably had maybe a bad morning. Like it's just one moment.
Yes. Yes. It's not, yeah, it doesn't make up for the whole experience. It's a
Yeah.
flash.
And
Yeah.
I'm not posting every single thing I do because most of the thing I do is just pretty boring.
Mhm. It's like, yeah, I walked to the grocery store. Ooh, okay.
I had to
So,
clean up, you know.
right, really, yeah, because I'm like, oh, I got a vacuum. Okay. That's it. So you have a book.
I do.
Tell us about your book. It's called Finding Your People.
Indeed, indeed. And it is a very quick read, very accessible guidebook that I compiled after having so many people being wowed by the fact that I can move to a new country, not speaking the language, having maybe not even known anyone there, or when I came to visit, only met one or two people. But within a couple of months, have not besties, because it takes a longer time to have a bestie friendship, but have a network of people who truly I can call friends and whose company I enjoy, who can offer me support in a variety of ways. I realize that in this platform, this atmosphere of so many of us, Black women, Black folk in general, leaving the US, that we have used the internet and YouTube and social media to truly show our brethren back home that there is a life outside of the States. So, one of the things I realized that in all of the let me tell you how you can relocate, let me help you with the visa process services that folks offer, I had not seen a service by fellow expats, which truly for me spoke to, once you were on the ground, the most important building of a life that you would need to generate when you're in your new city, in your new country. And that is forming intentional, authentic community. So I put together Finding Your
Yes.
People to basically make it clear to women, particularly Black women, particularly Black women who relocate without a romantic partner, how they should approach developing and forming meaningful, authentic connections with a community of care. Because I think when I've talked to women over the years, and I've gotten some clients who I've coached through this once they bought the book and they need more help, because I think I underestimated how many people it doesn't come easy to them making
Hmm.
friends, especially when you're a woman of a certain age, right? So I find when I've talked to clients who have gotten from reading the book and wanting a bit more guidance and help, people underestimate the the intention you have to put into connecting with people. I think you get wrapped up in the visa, the getting the money together, the finding the place. If you know, if you're again, if you're still in the workforce, how I'm going to earn income, buying the furniture, figuring out how to language. You get wrapped up in that. You just assume, and then I'm going to have people.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just gonna meet people and it'll be fine, without realizing, no, you spent the first 40 years of your life in this other place and you left all them people in that place. And the last time you had to find your people or make friends, you were a college freshman. And it was very easy. You would just sit in the cafeteria and this girl was like, hey, can I sit here? And y'all became friends. It was that simple. you know? So you're in this new foreign country, and the country may not speak the language of your native tongue. You have all of these things you have just done. You're actually kind of tired and a bit traumatized, I will say,
oh
from
yeah,
the
you're
immigration
overwhelmed after such
process.
a big move, and that's a big bold change. Yes.
Exactly, a big change. And if we're being honest, you're not 100% sure if you did the smart thing, because you left all your people
Hmm.
back in
Yeah, you're
Texas
going to
or
question
New York.
yourself. You're
Yeah, or
going
New
to question
York.
yourself.
Exactly. So you get there and you breathe. And I think the process and the settling in can be even more isolating and more frightening if you don't have genuine connections to people. And I think a lot of women, especially women who are older, again, who hasn't really had to think about this process of meeting friends and how do you form genuine connections with women who are like-minded. You haven't had to think about that in decades. They find themselves a bit stymied. Like, how do I do that? And I think some people make the mistake of thinking that they're going to events that are hosted for expats is in of itself the building community, which is in what I say in Finding Your People, is going to the events is the starting point.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
not the building of community itself. So it is a guidebook that I put together after many years of building my author platform, that is based on the free Black woman and the interior aspect of her life, that I wanted to present as a way to help women who are on this mass exodus from the US. And even if you're not, maybe you are still fine with living in Houston, but over time, because of life circumstances, you look up and your friendship circle is smaller, and you're like, again, how do I make how do I make friends?
Yes. Yes. Very much so, very much. And that's like for me before I left, because I am from Texas, I'm from Houston. But before I left, because I was in the Exodus Summer community, I actually created like the Texas Sisters, it's a WhatsApp group, but it was for Black women in Texas specifically that were, trying to figure out what their next moves were or whatever, whether
Mhm.
they were moving to Mexico or, somewhere here in Europe or to Panama, wherever they were looking at either relocating to or bopping around to. I created that community for them to be like, you're not alone. And that's with any community that you join or that you come upon. And I understand that there's some people that are real introverts and they're like, I will just sit on the sidelines and
Yeah.
watch what's happening. But
And that's
also
fine. Yeah.
yeah, but make some effort in whatever your decision, whether you're still in the United States or you're moving someplace else, because loneliness is real, especially loneliness in your own efforts or own goals
Mm.
can be very lonely within
Mm,
itself. Yeah.
mm. Most definitely. And I do think I sometimes refer to it as the L word, the loneliness word. I think we have sort of framed it and demonized it to a sense that no one wants to admit that they feel it because they feel like it's some sort of deficit. No, it's a human
Hmm.
emotion. And if
Yeah.
you don't have sincere connections and authentic connections with people, it's very makes very much sense that you feel alone, you feel lonely and
Yeah.
isolated. And I do think this experience, I know there seems to be, because of the bubble that we're in, Yolanda, I think there seems to be an idea or a perception that it's hundreds of thousands of black women who are leaving the US. But I think, like many Americans, black folk are not sort of immune to the fact that it's costly. They would
Hmm.
prefer to deal with the devil they do know than to try the devil they don't know. So I
Yeah.
think there's still a very small number of us who are taking this journey. And those who don't, I understand. I understand, no judgment.
Absolutely.
Everyone's decision is for you. But because we're still very much a minority of folk who are leaving the States, and when you go to this new place, I think it's absolutely normal and healthy to want to find others like you before you try to integrate into the local community. That's perfectly fine because you've up here
Yeah.
you have so much upheaval. You have to have a regulate your nervous system somehow. So finding something familiar makes sense. And I think you discover quickly that it's a small community of folk who are like you. And again, if you want to plug into and have them on your journey, you have to be intentional with it. And also there has to be a level of vulnerability in that you can't shy away from.
Yes. It's there was a young lady that moved here to Zaragoza before she moved here, and she was like following me on my YouTube, and she's a very much an introvert, very much an introvert. And but she was talking about before she moved here, she was just like, I think I want to move to the outskirts of Zaragoza. I was like, girl, please don't do that. I can't tell you what to do, but please don't do that. I understand you're an introvert, and I understand there's a difference between being alone or wanting to be alone and loneliness.
Indeed.
You move into another country and move into the outskirts when you already are an introvert and really don't like dealing with people, you might start experiencing some loneliness that you didn't think that you didn't anticipate. So
Yeah.
yeah, finding that community. And now she's moved here, and we go walking, sometimes, and it's been great, and she's wonderful. But also she's like, sometimes she's like, I don't want to be around people.
Which is
Cool.
fair.
Okay.
I'm an
Yeah.
extrovert. I'm an extrovert and I feel that too. Exactly. I'm the most extroverted. I like people. I like being in the mix, but I too I love living alone for a reason because I like to come back to my cozy little apartment where it's quiet and solitude and everything is where it needs to be once I have been out there with my people. I like having to decompress and recharge alone. So I understand introverts. I understand y'all.
So in the community where you're at now, in Lisbon, now that you're settled, meeting new people that have you met a lot of new people that have also moved to Lisbon, and what has been their take versus your experience? Has it been like the
Hmm.
same or drastically different, and you've had to like talk them through some things?
Interesting. I have met quite a bit of people. And what's interesting, I think everyone, whether you are American, whether you are from the continent being the continent Africa, whether you are from another European country, the common thread seems to be everyone has been traumatized by IMA. I don't know what the AIMA acronym stands for, but that is the immigration people here in Portugal. and everyone has been traumatized by the process.
Oh.
The bureaucracy. I think Portugal opened up its doors, I think maybe a few years pre-COVID, like everybody come. And they made it
Hmm.
incredibly easy. As a matter of fact, so much the rest of the other European countries were side-eyeing them, like, why y'all making it so easy? Now they want us to make it this easy, right?
Hmm.
And then
And
everybody
Spain was
came,
like really holding out. They were like, "No, we're not doing all that." Mm-mm.
like, no, why you, and they were like, Portugal, they expecting us to like give it up that easily. Like, y'all need to close your legs.
Yeah, like you
So
got to play. Yeah, you got to play hard to get.
so
Okay.
this is everybody came, and then Portugal was like, oops, no.
Yeah, they made some. Yes, they made some rule changes. Yes.
Yeah. So the bureaucracy here to get your D7, which is known as a retirement visa, the passive income visa, or your D8, which is a nomad visa. Those are the two, in my, from what I've sort of deduced, the two most popular visas. The process to get there, to get that, is now, because Portugal is a hot spot. Everybody's on IG talking about it. You have to really be committed to this country.
Yes.
You you can't just
Let
be
me
like,
tell
hey, I
you.
think I want to experience living on Europe. You got to really want to come here. So everybody,
Yeah.
and your American privilege will not buy you much privilege. They will put everyone through the ringer. They will cancel appointments, reschedule them, like, stuff will expire. You just here illegally. You can't leave the country because they got too many people before you to do. So I think everyone I've met, has been very happy that they're here and they enjoy Lisbon and the country itself. Same thing that I say. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, it's good food, it's affordable, especially if you're coming from a city like New York or San Francisco. You really had an upgrade here. If you're coming from like
Yeah.
a Houston, it's just in my opinion, a lateral move. So they
Yeah,
all
somewhat.
enjoy
Although
it.
Houston, like right before, I have to say this, right before I moved, because I was living in Dallas for a while before I started pet sitting full time for a year and a half before moving here.
Hmm.
I was living in Dallas, and even because I moved to Dallas, I guess like right like in 2022. Anyways, the thing is, after the lockdown, after they lifted everything, they were like, "Oh, we got to recoup all of our money from all the great deals." And so, yeah, when my last apartment in the United States, I was paying $2,000 a month for a one bedroom. Which what happened was there were so many people moving from New York, from DC,
Hmm.
from California that were like coming to. So just like we came over here to the European countries, and they're like,
Exactly.
"What you doing over here?" I kind of had the same feeling. I was like, "You are raising my rent. What is going on?"
Absolutely. I tell, look, and that's one thing about our Black American community that's hard for them to admit and wrap their brains around. We are American gentrifiers, baby. I know back in our country, we are part of the oppressed group, and it's hard to, I see ourselves as part of the oppressors now. But if we being real about it, we are
Mm,
bringing up the rent. Our American income gives us entree to parts of the city, especially in housing, that even a middle class Portuguese person may not have access to, and that's real. So yeah,
yeah,
and I
absolutely.
say, and I say specifically, it's sort of a lateral move if you're coming from a Houston or another popular southern city, specifically because of housing costs. That is, I think, I don't know how economists do it, but that is my rubric or my marking sheet for affordability or not. How much
Okay.
is housing? And I would say my experience of Lisbon when it comes to housing specifically is, it's a lateral move, still, given how much you were paying, a lateral move from someone coming from Houston or Dallas to Lisbon. It is
Hmm.
a huge come up from in housing alone from someone coming from a New York City or in LA to Lisbon. Because what I pay here for my apartment in Lisbon, I'd be paying at least double or triple. Not
Yeah.
just the apartment, the neighborhood, the amenities. It would not be even within the realm of reason for me to be able to rent this place back
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah.
Could
And
in New
that's
Orleans, I could in Houston, Texas, not in New York.
yes. It's crazy. One of the young ladies that moved here this past summer to Zaragoza, she, was able to find an apartment that it's a beautiful little one bedroom apartment, but it's gorgeous old style loft, like right in the major tourist area. And we went there and I was like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Like if you ever move, I want to know. And yeah, that apartment, probably would go probably for four times what she's paying here.
Most
Um,
definitely.
yeah, it wasn't intentional. It was like actually, it was just something that she just lucked out on. But
Mhm.
yeah, we definitely recognize that there has the advantage, the economic advantage that we're experiencing that, maybe others have not or
Yeah.
cannot, like the locals can't experience. And I recognize, like, I know I'm the only like American and Black person in my building here. So
Hmm.
I'm amongst the locals. Okay.
Yeah. I think that there doesn't have to be any shame in it, but I think just being able to own that we are not necessarily a part of the struggle story once we
Yeah.
get here in the same way, and that's on the backs of the people who are a part of the
Yes.
struggle story in this country. And plot twist, oftentimes the people who are part of the struggle story are brown. The browner they are, the probably the closer
Hmm.
they are to the struggle story. So there's that sort of nuance and complexity of being an American Black person,
Yeah.
having coming to not the promised land for Black people, but coming to a social class upgrade.
And and the thing is this, here in Zaragoza, and I recognize there is, I feel completely safe here no matter where I'm walking, where I'm going.
Same,
But
same.
I also recognize that there are neighborhoods that are more like, they have specific neighborhoods that are more like for people that are from like somewhere in Latin America,
Yeah.
because they, sometimes they frown upon, the culture of a quinceañera here. They're like, that is
Mm.
so petty, whatever, however they look at it. But yeah, they look
Hmm.
down on it. And my daughter said something. She said, it's gonna become popularized and stuff, and they're gonna act like they were the ones that invented case quinceañeras.
The quince, yeah, quince been around
Yeah,
forever. Little Mexican girls been having the quince since the beginning of time.
yeah, but they're gonna start doing it. Kayla said, my daughter said, within the next 10 years, she says it's gonna become very, very popular, and they're gonna swear they created it here, right here in Spain.
That's how
But
they do.
also,
A
yes,
colonizer gonna colonize.
yeah, and be like, yeah, this is all about us. It's our history. It's like, shut up. And but also I recognize that there are some predominantly Black neighborhoods that are definitely people that are from Africa, because I have noticed the difference on how they are treated versus how me being a Black woman from America is treated.
Hmm.
I recognize
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yes, I appreciate my opportunity, but don't think for a minute I don't recognize it. And even
Mm.
though, I've told several stories about this, but even though my Spanish is not good, I know how to give a mean mug side eye if I see some kind of injustice.
Good for
Like,
you. The side
I may
eye
not
sometimes is a lot louder and a lot more effective than words anyway.
yeah. Yeah. It's like I will stare you down and make you feel shame. It's like that's all I can do. That's it.
Like,
I'm
actually,
doing
no, he was
it.
first. He was before me. You should be asking him if he needs help. He was actually before me in line. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So with this, you said that you have some one-on-one sessions with that where they can actually do like a coaching to help women understand what their biggest
Yes.
barriers are.
Yes, yes. So if you go to my website on the homepage, you can download a copy of Finding Your People. It's only 650. I made it again very accessible for a reason.
She said
You
six
can get
penny.
650. You can get through it in maybe an hour if you're taking notes and really in like locking in. Maybe it'll take you 2 hours. And when you purchase the guidebook, it gives you one free consultation with me,
Okay.
and it's a 30-minute consultation. And can I tell you? You can get a lot done in those 30 minutes. Some folks book some more time and we can negotiate the fee based on what's in your budget and what you're looking for. I do this work. Yes, I want my time compensated, but I do this work because again, connection to people and helping Black women find a community of care is incredibly important to me, right? So some folks book other sessions, but we can get a lot done in that first session. I have helped some of my clients in that first session make a plan for finding something in their community. They weren't planning on moving abroad anytime soon. They just again were 43, looked up and was like, not only do I not have any more friends anymore, I don't have any Black women friends, and that's a problem. So helping them create a plan for finding somewhere to find people. Like, what are your interests? How can you locate something that you're interested in doing? How can you commit to going to that thing regularly? What's going to be the best day if you're going to actually keep up going to this thing? What's going to be literally the best that you can commit to doing your activity to meet people? Let's come up with a bunch of sentence starters or personal anecdotes that you could have in the stockpile to throw out there, so you're not just having stupid ass small chat with people that you meet. Like you having real conversation with folk. You ain't got to get deep talking about your trauma, but you're doing more than.
Mhm.
So what you do for a living? Why you came to this flower making class? Like once you get over all that bullshit, you can have real stuff to talk about that connects you with people, so you can figure out sooner, could this possibly be one of my people? Because one of the things that I preach pretty consistently in the book and also when I coach women is the community building event is not the building of community. It's where you go to find your people. And when you
Mhm.
get to that event, you make concerted effort to connect with individuals in that community event to try to build one-on-one connections. Because the weekly Black Americans in Lisbon brunch is wonderful, but the chance of your truly having authentic care and connections with them 20 people who show up every single Wednesday is highly unlikely.
Yes.
You may
Yes.
call them when you're trying to figure out where to get your hair done. You may put a little a text in the chat, girl, my hairdresser didn't call me back. Yeah, y'all know somebody can do locks in Campo Jerry. But when it comes to my mama is sick
Mhm.
and I really don't have enough extra to get this plane ticket back to New Orleans, and I'm feeling a little guilty about this choice I make. Them 20 people, likely because of the way human connections, the heart to heart connections work, them 20 people ain't gonna be who you call. Maybe two people in there who you truly have that kind of connection with. And
Mhm.
that's why you're going to events to find your people. The the community of black folk in a country is not the community itself. It is the entry point to have authentic bonds on a one-on-one basis. So you have a genuine connection with folk that you have to pour into and build into over a series of months and maybe even years. The same way you didn't realize your homegirl was your homegirl that freshman year. By the time y'all graduated, y'all was ride or die because y'all
Yeah.
both put in that time.
And I love how you said that because when I think about, like I said, I was in Madrid for, the 3 weeks, but this is a two-part thing. Melanie Madrid itself is a wonderful community. I think there's, I don't know, I think she might have 2 or 3 thousand. I'm not connecting with all of them. But over time, I've developed some key relationships that I might only see them once a year, maybe twice a
Hmm.
year. Like if they happen to be traveling through, or, and want to stop in Zaragoza, or I'm headed to Madrid, it's like, hey, girl. But it's not something that I'm like, I'm going to start joining this group and I'm going to be besties with everyone. Different people can give you, in whatever your season is, they can give you some insight on some things.
Indeed.
But that true connection is amazing. That was actually part of the reason, because my daughter's lived here since 2016, but I
Mm.
still didn't have Spain on my brain to move here. What got me
Mm.
thinking that I wanted to move to Spain was when I went to a picnic in Madrid, and it was like 60 something black people, and I just felt it. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And I just got that good vibe overall about Madrid, because initially, everybody knows I wanted to move to Madrid. I'm in Zaragoza, but I wanted to move to Madrid.
Mm.
But I knew that I had found some kind of peace in Spain that I hadn't felt in a long time.
That's
That
a
was my
common
journey.
story. Exactly. I love that. It's a common story. Again, that goes back to the why. Why are you
Hmm.
leaving in New York? Like everybody knows, I call New York City the love of my life. I call New Orleans my first love, and New York City the love of my life. So why are you leaving the love of your life? Why did you choose this thing? And it's always again, it's just a piece. It's something that you feel, and you can't necessarily define. And everyone has different a different version of that. That everyone has that about a different place, right? It's just you can feel it. You feel it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's speaking to you. It's like, oh, okay.
This
Okay,
it.
yeah, I feel it in my being and stuff. And the thing was, when I shared this many times, the thing was, when I kind of was like, this feels like home. And then I spoke it out loud. God was like, okay, I'm going to
That
hook you up with some people. So I spoke it out loud, and this lady was like, you need to talk to my immigration attorney here in Spain. Carlos he will help you out. And I was like, what? Is this
like,
real?
excuse
And
me,
then,
I don't know if I was ready for all that.
yes, but
I
through
was just
that
thinking out
journey,
loud.
yes, I was just I didn't know I was really literally putting it out in the universe that this is possible.
And the
It can
universe will
happen.
respond. Swift,
Yes.
fast, and in a hurry.
Yes. And so if it, yeah, it was very identifying, and and because of that, like, I've also shared this story, just being in that group and finding the community with one of the ladies that I actually met up with. Her name is I say her name because she's a comedian and she does a lot of creativity here. Her name is Kepfer. But because of that, just me building that relationship, I did my first ever, one time only, I did stand-up comedy amateur night. This was a couple of years ago. There will never
Ah!
be any evidence of it anywhere, so you just
Like
have
I
to
got it
believe
off the
me.
bucket list. I checked it off.
Yeah,
I did it.
yes. She was there. Y'all won't see it. But it was like there was certain, I felt like, courages. This was before I even moved to Spain, but there was certain I felt a certain amount of courage that I felt I didn't have. I had it because I found community in someone that was letting me know that you're not alone.
Mm,
And so
absolutely,
that's my
absolutely well
thoughts.
said. Amazing. Yay, I'm happy for you.
Thank you. So I have to ask you, we're coming up on the close, but I did have a couple more questions. So, like, what fun things have you discovered, or something that you enjoy doing in the States that you also have found very easy to do here or in Lisbon? Or what new things have you enjoyed doing, maybe on a semi-regular?
Oh, interesting. One of the things that I loved it back in the States, especially New York City, New York City is a museum culture. It's very much arts and culture, live music, intellectually stimulating events. And I have found that I have been able to recreate that here in Lisbon, particularly again being from New Orleans, where live music just pops up because somebody died and it's a second line, or because somebody uncle got a trumpet. I am a big fan of unpretentious live music. You have to do a whole lot of work to get to. And I think Lisbon especially, I would say they are top notch with having a bunch of little small cute
Yeah.
spots. Sometimes it's a proper music venue, sometimes it's restaurant and they have somebody come in and sing and play a little guitar. But there are at least two spots that have become my favorite that I could go to with just showing up. Maybe sometimes if they have a popular band, I have to maybe reserve a spot and give them €10 for the band and come in and listen to incredible, like just I can't believe you really exist. Your voice, your musicality, your craft. Literally outside my window. I happened to discover this my first month to a year. I would leave the windows open, and all of a sudden there'd be all these rowdy, noisy youths outside my window. And I was like, what the hell is this? I discovered about a month after that there's a speakeasy outside my window. And I went in there one time with a friend who was visiting, and they had basically a live rap cipher going on in a basement.
Okay.
So apparently every other Wednesday there's this recurring event where it's sort of open mic, but the folks are all amazing and they may have one or two truly professional artists and it's a live band. They got a drummer, they got a keyboardist, they got a guitarist, and the host is an incredible black woman. She's probably from one of the Portuguese colonies, maybe she's Cape Verdean or Angolan, who's the host and the MC, and she has an incredible voice. She can rap, she can sing, she does impromptu, like, come on, somebody take the mic, take the mic, take the mic, take the mic, and she called people from the stage. And I'm just like, literally outside my window, I could come in my pajamas if I wanted
Wow.
to. So
Hey.
that I would say is the thing that has been able to carry forward with me here that I feel very, very fortunate to be able to be blessed to partake in.
Any other activities or things that you like to do? Like, I know you said that you are definitely I have not actually, I didn't mean to jump, but I have not actually thoroughly enjoyed the architecture the way I want to. So, which gives me
Mm,
great reason, like, I need to come back to Lisbon soon, because I don't think I've actually truly enjoyed all of the great architecture when I've gone there. So it's on
mm.
my bucket list. But
Yes, you must. And I think that's probably a good segue into what I have discovered now that I had didn't do too often back in the States. I have gained an appreciation for the simplicity of sitting in a park and having a glass of wine. Can we cuss on your show?
yes, girl, go. What's up? What's up?
Having a glass of wine and talking shit with
There you
someone
go.
I like, right? Whether it's practicing my broken up Portuguese, whether it's with an English speaker, and just shooting the breeze, especially in the summertime, for hours and hours, and being surrounded by so much beauty, all the beautiful houses and apartments with the beautiful pastel colors and the beautiful
Oh, I love
tile and art.
buildings.
And then of course the park itself has trees, and every little park has a little kiosk with some snacks you can get for very reasonable prices. Like, and it's just something that, especially when I first got here, I truly, truly developed a love for it. Now, since it's winter, and winter here isn't necessarily cold, it's just kind of rainy. I do that inside cute cafes that are often right outside of cute parks. Um,
Hmm.
but the simplicity of, you don't need a much you don't need a bunch of money in order to gather with people and connect with them and have ease. You can just go to the top of one of these steep ass mountains peaks and sit there with your bottle of wine and look at this gorgeous, like breathtaking view from the top of the
And it's
mountain.
not frowned upon for you to sit down at a park bench and be doing nothing and just enjoy
For
some wine. Yeah.
hours, just bring your
Yeah. You might
own.
have
If
some cops come up to you in the States if you're just sitting on the park bench drinking.
Yeah. And first of
Yeah.
all, there wouldn't be
But
nowhere to sit. There wouldn't be nowhere to sit. Like,
yeah.
because every place is designed to encourage coming together, because they all have
Yeah.
benches. It's clearly, we want you to come and sit here and just rest. No
Yeah,
strings
it's
attached.
so different. I've had since I moved to Spain, I want to say probably since I moved to Spain in April 2024, I want to say I've had at least about 20 Black women that have come through, whether it was because of a meetup, small gathering, or they were just passing through and, they just wanted to spend time. And I've had my sister-in-law came to visit one time, and I had somebody else that came through, and they were like, I don't, when do these people work? Why are they just sitting down on the bench doing nothing? What's going on here? And I'm like, you don't see it because we live in a country where one, everybody's in the car and headed someplace.
Yes, exactly.
Here, yeah. But here, yeah, you're literally encouraged no matter what, just to sit down and just breathe. Not saying they're
It's
not working, but you're encouraged to have a balance to sit down and
Yeah.
breathe.
The environment and the infrastructure is built around that. Like, no one built a city and then everyone started reporting being depressed, and they were like, oh, maybe we should try to find a way to build some space in this city we already built for people to come and together and meet. The cities were built with that infrastructure in mind. They're built around squares that have
Yes.
seating, that have snacks, that have nice, what you call it, landscaping for you to enjoy it, where you can bring your kids if you have them. If it's just adults, you can come and sit at any time in the day. Like, it's
Hmm.
built around that. So
Yes, and
it was
yeah.
built with that intention in mind.
Yeah, you don't have to. So it's so great that, especially since you live there, and that's like I think any city in Europe, but we're speaking of, where we live. I love the fact that even though there are specific tourist areas, there's tourist zones, but the beauty of the city is everywhere. You don't have to be
Absolutely.
in the expensive tourist zone, like, and doing all the most, which is a great experience, don't get me wrong. But once you step out and say, like, okay, I'm going to go and just, walk around this random neighborhood, and then just to come up onto a park or a bench with a beautiful clearing with this beautiful view, it's amazing. On my pet sit that I just finished in Madrid, I was like out by the airport. And I was like, because at first I was like, I don't want to spend 3 weeks out by the airport. I can't do
Sounds,
nothing.
yeah, it
What?
sounds, yeah, exactly. It sounds far off and
Yeah.
way too isolated. Yeah.
Absolutely freaking love it. I was right across the street from the subway. I am a pro at taking that subway now. I can get
Listen,
anywhere.
New
I was
York,
able.
I ain't had a car since the turn of the century, so I feel you.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful just understanding the options once you get out of the tourist mindset
Most
and
definitely. And
stuff.
I
But
think
yeah,
I think that is naturally going to happen once you move to a place, because you're no longer a tourist. Once you are there, you can't. It's not
you'll see.
sustainable. Like, I didn't want to live in a French Quarter when I was in New Orleans. Why would I want to live in a French Quarter here?
Yeah.
I wasn't
Well,
trying to
now,
go to Times Square regularly when I lived in New York. I mean, if I had people visiting, I would go.
I think God was really talking to me because when I first decided that I was going to move to Spain and I had every intention on moving to Madrid, and I'm totally city person completely. And I was like, I want to live right here in the middle, the cross streets of Madrid tourist zone. That's what I have to do. And God was like, no, you don't.
No, you
And so,
don't.
so
You're
yeah.
not
And
there.
so when I moved to Zaragoza, I still need to be in the city. I was like, okay, I don't want to be in the suburbs of nowhere. But
Mm,
it just opened my mind about what you think you need versus what you really need. And that's
mm.
a nice, the balance of access but peace. Yeah.
Indeed. Beautifully, beautifully said. Exactly. Exactly
And
that.
so, well, this has been wonderful. This has been absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad.
Same
As y'all
here.
know, again, I've had some technical difficulties, so hopefully I am back full strength and doing a lot more interviews. I did want to just say, please do make sure that you do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you will know the next time I have something quite intellectual and smart, to say and share, whether it's an upload or live, what have you. Like and subscribe. And then also in the link below, you will have all of Keturah's contact information. And again, it's KeturahKendrick.com, and you will have your social media information on there also. And if you want to connect with me, there's actually a link. I had all the different links, and I just said I just now have like the connect with me link that has, if you're interested and you need a travel buddy because you're coming to Spain and concerned about doing that alone, I am here for you. If you want to get on my email update list for anything that might be coming up or any insights that I have, please do make sure you click on the link that says connect with me, and it'll lead you to a couple of different options. It's my own version of Linktree. Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to share, Katura, before we go?
Well, I want to thank you for having this conversation with me. It was lovely chatting with you, and I wish you absolute joy, and also all of your viewers. Live life to the fullest, how you define it, and support Yolanda's amazing channel. You're doing great work, letting all of us know what the options are, whether we choose to take them or not.
Yes, you have options. Thank you. Y'all take care.